In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your rear brake hose on your Hyundai Accent. It's located underneath the vehicle behind the rear wheel. Using a 21mm socket, I'm going to take our lug nuts off. Here's a tech tip. Make sure you press the brake pedal down with a pry bar or something like it before doing any sort of hydraulic work. Using an 11mm wrench, we're going to loosen up this fitting. All right, so we're going to finish. Make sure you have a drip pan below you. It will stop dripping since we have our brake pedal pressed with our pry bar. Okay, once you disconnect that, we're going to go to the other end of the line and disconnect that side. All right, so now we're going to go back here and we're going to crack this fitting loose. So we're on our last turn here, I believe. Either that or this fitting is a mile long. There we go. And now we're going to disconnect this line. Just make sure your drip pan's below you. Excellent. Now we're going to do this bolt here. Using a 12mm socket, we're going to loosen up this bolt. And disconnect the bracket. I'm just going to pull down on that and release it. All right, so I'm going to use maybe some needle nose pliers at first, just to loosen it up. And pry this clip out using a pry bar. Set that off to the side. Now we can pull this line out. So we're going to feed our line up above this bracket next to the emergency brake cable. And line up the line, or the hose, should I say, with the line. There are two flat spots on the hose. And when you push that in, it should sit nicely. Now we can put our clip in. And that should hold it in place. Just make sure you put your line in before doing that. Use my sledgehammer to push that down and straighten it out a little bit. So now let's get our fitting in there, get it started, and tighten it up. All right, and to snug it down, we're going to use our line wrench so that we don't strip the fitting. Go, and now we're going to go down to the other end. Okay, so now we're at the other end. We're going to feed our line into the hose, get our fitting started. And then we're going to get our bolt started in our bracket. Make sure your bracket is got its little guide thing where it belongs. That'll hold it better. All right, once you get that started, we can snug it up. Once you get that a little bit snug, we're going to use our line wrench and tighten it up. All right, so let's just clean up our mess. Little brake parts cleaner at both ends. Okay, so now that you're done doing your hose, your hydraulic work, you can take the pry bar off the brake pedal. So take your little rubber cap off, your bleeder screw, get a 10mm wrench. So now we're going to do a gravity bleed. So we're going to open up that bleeder. We're going to have a drip pan below us. And we're going to wait for the gravity to come through the system and let the air out. So we're waiting to see all the air bubbles, and when they're done, it'll be like a pretty steady stream. And then you can close it back up. All right, once you get a steady drip like that, you can close it down. I don't see any more air bubbles coming out. Just make sure you tighten it good. Clean the area with some brake parts cleaner. Let that dry. Put your boot back on. Now you're going to get inside the vehicle and test your brake pedal out. Make sure it feels hard and at the top. If it feels a little squishy, you're going to have to do a real full brake bleed procedure. All right, we're going to put our wheel on. Set our lug nuts by hand. Using a 21mm socket, we're going to tighten up in a crisscross manner. Walk your wheel on, that bottom one. Using a 21mm socket, we're going to torque our wheels to 80 foot-pounds. In a crisscross manner. Okay, clean and inspect your cover. Take the cover off and take out your filter. Sometimes they're a little tough to get out, but after you take that out, we're going to siphon out the brake fluid. All right, so we are going to use our fluid extractor and siphon out our brake fluid as much as we can. And that seems to be all we can get out of there. All right, so now we want to top off our brake fluid. Make sure you fill it to the line. It says max. All right, so now we can put our cap back on. And we can start at our right rear, then go to our left front, left rear, and right front. Okay, so we are at our right rear. We are going to get a 10mm wrench. You're going to have someone in the vehicle pumping the brakes up, and then after they pump it up, we're going to loosen the bleeder. And it's to the floor. You're going to tighten the bleeder up. You're going to ask them to pump it up. Pump it up, please. He's holding it. So you open up the bleeder. It's to the floor. I close it. We're looking in the hose here for air bubbles. So we're going to need to keep doing it till I don't see air bubbles anymore. Pump it up. It's to the floor. Closing my bleeder. Pump it up one more time. And that's to the floor. All right, take your wrench off after you've tightened the bleeder. Remove your fluid catcher. Clean it off a little bit. Let that dry. And you can put your rubber cap back on. Now we're going to go to the left front. All right, so take off your rubber cap. You're going to put your fluid catcher on there. Ask your partner in there to pump it up. Using a 10mm wrench, we're going to break open the bleeder screw when the person inside is holding the brake pedal down. It's to the floor. Tighten the bleeder screw up. Pump it up, please. Holding. To the floor. Tighten it up. Pump it up, please. Holding. And it's to the floor. I'm not really seeing any air bubbles at this point. So I'm going to tighten up my bleeder. All right. You can take your fluid extractor off. Clean the area. Let that dry a little and put your cap on. All right, now that we're halfway through, we've bled the right rear and the left front wheels. We're going to top off our fluids. It's always a good idea to check, and it looks like we do need some. So I'm going to put a little bit in, make sure it's at the max. Make sure you put your cap back on. And let's continue to the left rear. The process is the same as doing the first wheel, which was also in the rear. Then continue to the right front, which is number 4, which will be the same process as the other front wheel. All right, so now we're done doing our left rear, right front. The brake bleed process should be done. So let's take our cap off and top it off one more time. Fill it up to max. Okay, so now we can put our cap back on. Now we can get in our vehicle. We're going to check our brake pedal, make sure it's nice and high and hard. If it doesn't feel good and it feels like squishy, you're going to have to bleed the brakes one more time because that means there's probably a problem or there's air in the system. If your brakes feel great, you're good to go. You can go for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.